this is roadkill time. On behalf of myself and my mom, I'd like to tell you about a special place for fine cuisine with a distinctive taste. If you're looking for a place to dine, take a short drive out Highway 9, and where the blacktop turns to clay, you'll find the Roadkill BBQ Cafe. Looking for a dead skunk or a splattered toad, I scrape up all of your accidents. Mama makes them her ingredients. Mama wrote a jingle, everybody sing it. They sit the more tempted. Sounds good. Sometimes they're stiff, sometimes they're limp, sometimes they're blowed up.
Our message here today, the AFL CIO is in the midst of a rebranding. This new campaign theme is highlighting inequality. We are on a mission to keep the 1% from expanding, because the 1%, as we all know, is against everything we are as the 99%. This legislative session that we're halfway through right now, just for some examples of what's going on, Senate Bill 300 and House Bill 285 will make Alabama's unemployment insurance, which is now ranked 49 out of 50. In my President Al Henley's words, if this legislation is passed, it'll make Alabama rank number 65 out of 50 states. It's that bad. Alabama workers are entitled to unemployment insurance when they lose their job through no fault of their own. They draw $265 a week. They used to have a waiting period after the 13th week. The Republican majority now is going to set that waiting period week 1. It's worth $12.4 million a week, and it's all aimed, the Business Council supporting, putting that back into the fund and lower what employers have to pay weekly. The people that crunched the numbers for us said it'd be in none of our lifetimes where that Schedule D would be relieved for the employers. Alabama workers' comp is also among the nation's worst. In Alabama, and a good friend of mine at the Gadsden Goodyear plant where I'm from lost his hand. In Alabama, the hand is a scheduled impairment. It's worth 170 weeks times $220. My friend in Gadsden, Alabama's hand is worth $37,400. One of the senators at the public hearing we had mentioned comparing us to our sister states. Our sister states currently average a weekly maximum benefit of $560. Alabama's at $220. The majority has sponsored this legislation and would take from us in 4 areas and give us a $20 increase from $220 to $240. My friend that lost his hand, he's got a nub and a hook. His hand now is worth $37,400. If this passes, it's going to be worth $40,000. If my friend lost his hand in Florida, it could be worth over $300,000. And you don't see employees lining up to cut their damn hand off in an industry for $300,000. Senate Bill 63 and House Bill 30 are comparable to institutional slavery. These 2 bills would allow industries to go behind Alabama's prison walls and ask prisoners to do projects that we feel like, with the 7.5%, 8% unemployment, that some of our kids and grandkids could be doing. These jobs would go behind the wire and would be done by prisoners. And we believe prisoners ought to work. We believe they ought to raise gardens and slop hogs and whatever they do, but we believe any kind of jobs ought to be to the employees or future employees of the state of Alabama. Senate Bill 327 and House Bill 333 will remove the Davis-Bacon wage standard for our construction workers. The only way they would have to pay a prevailing wage if this legislation passes is if it was funded by federal dollars. Charter schools had a big hearing over there today. We think charter schools is probably the most rotten stuff that they've introduced. Some of us believe that charter school legislation is introduced for people who send their kids to private schools. They're trying to come up with ways to send them to private schools on public schools' dollars. We support our education trust fund. We support our education system and our teachers. And we support educating our young kids to do these jobs that are going to require more technical skills maybe than what we once thought. Due to the loss of compliance laws, some of the charter schools are due to close because of graft and corruption. One article that's been distributed through the community talks about the White Hat Society, where this guy made $78 million a year off of charter schools. We want our legislators to support our schools, give the dollars needed for a good public education, and let's stay away from charter schools.
Considering what's going on nationally with the union movement and everything, and then just the total onslaught here and the fact that you really can't seem to get information much out, alternative to what's out there, I mean, what can you guys do to fight the Tea Party Republicans right now?
We are committed to communicate with our members best we can. We actually got to hire a new young man that's involved. We're going to try to take advantage of our young workers. We think our future is in our young workers. We've got a young man hired. We're actually going to try to take advantage of Facebook, your website and others, Twitter, all the things that the young folks know how to do and us old folks don't.
Try to educate the public, in other words?
Educate our folks, because the days of telling your membership how to vote are long past us.
Right.
You know, probably half our membership votes Republicans, so we've got to access those folks, and if we're going to vote for them and support them, they need to start supporting us.